So, as you guys know, we got this fatty patch. So last patch was a pretty big patch for Guilty Gear Strive, but they went out of their way to say that that it would not be the biggest patch, that the one we were getting next would be even bigger, and they were not kidding. So every single character got some pretty big adjustments to how they play, how they operate, and everything. But Ramlethal is probably one of the biggest winners of the patch, which is not something I would say lightly. But they buffed this girl. They gave her some stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read over the changes, and then I'll go over some key points that I think are really important for Ramlethal players, people who play against Ramlethal, which is, you know, everybody. She's going to be out in full force now, this upcoming patch. And just some key things that will be extremely important going forward that you want to keep an eye on. So, due to the reduction of knockback for standing far S, it's easier to connect into Daro on cancel. So people were telling, I actually didn't know this, but you can, at certain ranges, you can connect far slash into Daro already for a combo. I thought it was pretty much only close slash. I never really used that conversion. I definitely used more Rekkas than anything else, so I was surprised to hear this, but I'm assuming this means pretty much at all ranges. So this is good. This honestly solves Ramlethal's biggest weakness in the mid screen, which was that her conversions off of far slash standing or far slash 5H were not good. So now if you're poking, you want to still do far slash 5H, but if you want to actually go into something, you'll be able to standing far slash into Daro, and then, you know, we already had combos off of close slash Daro, so it should be pretty much exactly the same. Far slash Daro into close slash 2H or close slash 6H, and then, you know, whatever, right? The increased knockback to standing heavy slash makes the situation after hit similar to how it was previously, right? So the properties of jump HS and jump D have been adjusted to the large benefit gained from additional Gatling routes. This is really cool. Ramlethal has obviously Aggressadorno, a way to end air combos and hard knockdown. Yeah, and Daro got increased scaling, but you know, the overall cast got increased scaling, right? So I think that was actually a really smart way to address the damage in the game, make the most popular combo starters scale harder. They released a few videos showing some of the changes, and you can definitely see the damage increase, which is what everyone wanted. Everyone wanted more situations, right? Everyone wanted people to not just outright die in 2 combos. Now it takes a bit more depending on the starters you use, and you know, the best starters are obviously the ones that got changed, so that's really good. We don't know exactly what this means, but Ramlethal is going to be even stronger in there, combined with the normal system changes across all characters. She's one of the biggest winners in the air. So this is absolutely huge. Okay, so another change that I'm really in love with. It took me a bit of thinking to figure out exactly what it meant, but due to being an overhead, it was difficult to buff Silda de Truro, and it was useful in limited situations, which it was true. I never used this ability, right? And whenever I would try to, I regretted it. By making it a mid, it can now be used more freely in neutral and in strings, and I'll talk about what exactly that means in a second. All right. When dash canceling Iralumo, the initial dash dive can now be special canceled, opening up potential strings. We are basically Nago now. We have special cancelable specials, which is absolutely OD. It's going to take a bit of execution, right? Because you have to dash cancel and then do the special on top of the special you did before, especially in Daro strings. But this is exciting. And to really think about how impactful this is, I'll go over it in a bit. So since canceling from standing far slash or crouching S makes a tight block string, this means you can launch a powerful offense after making the opponent block a grounded poke, right? Everything that everybody said that Ramlethal's biggest weakness was that in the mid screen, she had no real presence, right? Her neutral, funnily enough, her pokes were strong, but her neutral and conversions, Lurmo, it's the Rekka. It's the Rekka. So this makes it so that she actually has a bit of threat. Also, I already use 2S a lot, right? But now you can go into even more stuff. Going into Rekkas directly from 2S is something that I've never done. So that's going to be exciting to do. So I'm going to go quickly through these, exactly what these mean. And then I'll talk about what these changes actually mean from someone that plays way too much Ramlethal. So swords fixed a bug where the swords would attack in unnatural directions. You actually saw this, I think, even in my last stream, where sometimes you'll hop, if you're trying to cross somebody up, you'll hop and your sword will just go the wrong way, right? So hopefully they fix that. This is an overall change. The upper hitbox after the animation begins. We'll have to see exactly what this means. Maybe it just means dash is safer. Happens to you all the time. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Ramlethal say that they never saw this, but if you were pushing the capabilities of the character or trying to do unique things, this definitely occurred. Okay, standing // reduce the knockback. We talked about that. Standing HS increase knockback. We talked about that. I wonder if this is going to make it harder. So something that Ramlethals would do is HS into Daro. I wonder if that's harder to do now. We'll have to see. 6P, this is a universal change, made the opponent float higher. You can now start air combos off of 6P, is what I read this to mean. So this is going to be, 6P jump cancel, and then start a combo. I'm assuming, we'll have to see. I'll have to get my hands on the game. Jump HS, increase startup, increase knockback. So this is the second time that this has been adjusted. The first time was an adjustment. This is definitely a nerf. However, because of the changes, whenever you land this in the air, it's just flat out counter hit. So we'll have to see if it's actually though this already lost to the way they made it in the previous patch. This already lost to fast buttons in the air because of the time it took to come out, even if you timed it well. Now it'll lose to them even more, so it's more of a commitment, which is probably what they wanted it to be. They didn't change the hitbox on it, so it still beats 6Ps, right? Which is what its biggest threat was, is that you had to basically respect it. But now, I mean, I already didn't go for this all the time anymore, right? We were already varying our air options, but now even more so. Jump slash is the low-key GOAT. If you're looking for an air-to-air option, jump slash, and probably jump D is pretty worth using now. Jump D, increased knockback. We'll have to see what that means. Bayonetto, all versions. Fixed location on the ground where it will be set after touching the stage corner. After sending out the sword, if Ramlethal takes damage before it reaches the stage corner, the sword will no longer explode when it reaches the stage corner. Okay, so a lot of people were saying that this is an outright nerf, right, to trades. However, I think people read this wrong. Notice that this says if Ramlethal takes damage before it reaches the stage corner. Keyword here is before. So what I'm thinking this means is that if you plant the sword, because the biggest use for this, right, was planting sword and then running up. If they DP you, it would trade. People think this is gone now. I think this is actually still in the game, but only if you're both directly in the corner, right? You can't do this from basically mid-screen now. That P5 music, oh yeah, I've been saving this track. I'm pretty sure, because in the corner, the sword plants into the wall so fast that if you trade, the explosion will still occur if you're both in the corner, I think, which is actually something that a lot of people were overlooking. So we'll have to obviously get our hands on it and see. That's kind of a pending situation, but that's exciting. Increased base damage scaling. So a lot of people thought increased base damage scaling means that they increase the damage on the move. Quite the opposite. This means that used in a combo, it'll scale. Think about the pro rate from RC, right? If you use red RC in a combo, it would make the rest of your combo do less damage than usual. It's kind of like this, but for specials now. This is kind of an across the board thing. The most popular, I should say the most rewarding combo starters have been slightly changed damage-wise, which is good, Sildo de Truro, change from an overhead to a mid-attack, reduced base damage scaling. So they did the exact opposite with this. They want you to use, yeah, you get diminishing returns, exactly. However, they made this do more damage. So now this will do more damage in a combo. They are encouraging you to use this in strings. And we're going to have to see exactly how this works. I'm going to be in the lab and I'll be posting videos of things I find because I'm very familiar with the character. I'm confident that I could release information that'd be pertinent. But this is exciting. This is going to be very rewarding to land. We're thinking that this is basically going to be safe, if not slightly plus. It'd be really crazy if it was like +1, but it's definitely going to be no less than 0 on block. So we're talking about like Nago spinning top, right? Which is, we've seen how crazy a special like that is. Expanded the lower and behind hitbox. So if you're an OG Ramlethal player and you played in Ramlethal in Open Beta 2, hopefully you can place Daro with it. Right, you can, it'll be interchangeable, right? You can now use both. So if you were an Open Beta 2 Ramlethal player, yeah, what's up, Riot? Then you already know that Silda de Truro, which is 214K, you already knew that this had a pretty good hitbox. This was actually used as a cross-up. So I'm pretty sure they took it back to the way it was in Open Beta 2, which this move was really good in Open Beta 2. It got gutted because it was an overhead. But if that's the case, this is going to be a pretty scary move to deal with. And a lot of people don't know because the game didn't have it when it came out. But that's exciting. Just the movement speed and blowback, right? So we'll have to see what this means. But the move is just better overall, reduced recovery. So this is what we think makes this safe. The opponent's not forced into a crouching state on grounded hit. A lot of people don't know what this means. This essentially just means it doesn't, force an overhead or anything like that. This essentially means that you get more hit stun. You get more hit stun, and their crouching hitbox is actually, you get more off of it, essentially. All you know is pain in this patch. Oh no. They definitely did your boy Axe a little bit dirty. We're going to talk about that later on in the day. Probably one of the most exciting changes, though, is the wall bounce effect, right? I'm thinking that because of the way this works now, I don't know when the wall bounce will occur. Maybe on it looks like just on grounded hit, right? Because they didn't say it for aerial. So I'm assuming what this means is that if you land this, which is going to be a lot easier to land, they will bounce off the ground, hit the wall, bounce back to you, and then you can do 5k 6H confirms. If that's the case, Ramlethal is going to have some extremely saucy combos, because before 6H was pretty much the only button. 6H and Calvados were the only ones that really did a wall bounce effect. Okay, aerial, Silda de Truro, adjust the movement speed and blowback, decrease recovery. So if you guys watch the stream, you know that I would, in dire situations, I would do jump, double jump, 214K. It was a pretty good get out of corner option because it changes your jump arc in a way that it makes it hard to be anti-aired. The problem was that whenever you landed, you were negative, so you could be easily punished. Not hard punished, but you would get punished. Now, you can probably jump out of the corner with this, jump, double jump, 214K, so Ramlethal essentially has a pretty safe triple jump. And you can probably take your turn back depending on how it goes. So this is going to be just another reason for Ramlethal to jump out of the corner without buttons, which I was talking about how strong that's going to be yesterday with the changes, right? Getting 6P'd is something you absolutely do not want to happen now. Like, it's a big deal. It's not. Anyway, Calvados, increased base damage scaling, right? So no more haha funny, I erase 80% of your health Calvados combos, unfortunately. Daisuke didn't like that. Daisuke saw that and was like, this is not in my vision. So that got nerfed. It is what it is. Irrelumo can no longer be dash canceled on whiff. If you were a good Ramlethal, you weren't whiff canceling this anyway. So this literally doesn't matter. Can be used as a dash getting in. Yeah, we're thinking it's going to be like some really crazy stuff. When Roman cancels actually while dash canceling this move, it will not be a blue remedy cancel. This is huge. This is huge. If you have 50 meter, this is just a mix-up. Because the thing about Blue Roman Cancel is that it adds hit stun, but it also slows your opponent down. If you dash cancel this, they have to guess what you can do next. Meaning that you can dash cancel this, and this is the Rekka, by the way. You can dash cancel this and go into Charge Dust. You can dash cancel this, go for a low. They have to guess. That is huge. This is going to be a very effective way to spend 50 meter. Or you can just go for another hit. They're going to really, really have to guess now. Also, you can probably dash Blue Roman cancel this and go for a grab. That's something that people can, that's something that people do. So this is going to be very scary to deal with. Can now be special canceled only immediately after dash canceling. Again, very crazy, very scary stuff. So the first hit of Rekka, increase attack level. What I understand this to mean is that I increase the hit stun. They reduce the startup, reduce the recovery. This might be pretty much safe to use. So I think what they're making it a lot more rewarding for Ramlethal when she does get in, right? She has her sword normals to keep you away, but whenever you do get in, you're going to get a lot of reward, which was something that was lacking, right? Unless you were in the corner, you didn't really have a whole lot of stuff. Now, mid-screen Ramlethal can play the game, which is very, very nice. Adjusted blowback. Don't know what this means. We'll have to wait and see. Sped up the timing when the follow-up is buffed. Same thing here, added the dash cancel. So now you can dash cancel off the second hit. That's huge. So before, it was just the first hit. If you went for the first hit and you didn't dash cancel it, your opponent knew that either you were RCing or you were just going to do your follow-ups. The mind game kind of ended, except for will she do 2 or 3. Now it keeps going. I'm telling you, as someone that already used Rekka a lot, I think I use Rekka probably one of the most out of a lot of Ramlethals. It's even better now, which is even more of a reason to use it. So it's probably going to be the go-to over Daro, unless you want max range combos that do a little bit less damage for corner carry, which is probably exactly how they want Daro to be used. Reduce startup, reduce recovery, adjusted blowback, speed of timing when the follow-up is buffed, remove guard crush effect. If they had kept this on top of all the other changes, it would be ridiculous. So this is fair. This is kind of like the JH with aggressive changes. It's only fair, right? Fair smile. Third hit, reduce startup, increase recovery, increase recovery. So now this is even more of a commitment, but reduce the startup so it comes out faster. So now this, by the way, all these reduced startups means that these frame trap now. If you knew before, you could mash out of Ramlethal's Rekkas. Now you can no longer do that. She can choose to delay them, but you are not mashing out of these Rekkas. What does the dash cancelable thing mean? So you know how on the first hit of Rekka, you could go for the first hit of Rekka and then dash. You were locked out of buttons. That's been removed. Now you can do specials after this. So you no longer have that problem. Now you can do the same thing on the second hit too, which is huge. Because your opponent literally has to guess so hard on defense against your Rekkas now. Even more so than before. And I already opened people up like crazy with my Rekkas, right? Yeah, it's absolutely massive. What's up on underscore? Calvados, increased clash level, reduce recovery, added guard crush effect the final hit. So again, I feel like Daisuke was watching me play Ramlethal and they were like, yeah, he was like, yo, I like this Ramlethal because they buffed all the tools I already used a lot. The guard crush means that if it wasn't safe because of the reduced recovery, now it's really safe. Also, because if you look up here, they changed guard crush in general, right? The knockback caused by instant block of false defense will now change when guard crush by the opponent's attack. When an attack hits an opponent in the guard crush animation, the attack is treated as the first move in a combo. So do you know what this means? This means that you can, if you have 100 meter, which is something that a lot of people would do on Ramlethal anyway, but it wasn't that good, you could get essentially an invisible mix. You could super PRC, dash PRC it and start your pressure while they were blocking the super. Now, if you do this while they're on block, at the end of the super, they get a guard crush and you can do the nasty stuff you could do off of Rekka's guard crush. So they just moved it to this. Now you have to have meter if you want to do guard crush combos, and you will get a combo off it. Probably a blue combo at that, which means that'll scale even less. Cancel, wait for the crush. Yeah. If they don't get mixed before that, they're going to get mixed by the guard crush. Guard crush was only good for red RC 2S mix up. Well, remember, I use guard crush a lot. Oh yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yes. Yeah, guard crush the second hit of Rekka, right? And then fast RC cancel into the 2S, right? So now you can do that sort of thing, but with Calvados. Also, this means that Ramlethal can get her swords back even safer than before, which is really, really big. Because before you could, throw your swords in pressure, get them back with super, but you had to worry about your opponent responding. You could get punished literally full screen. I always thought that made the move fair, but apparently Daisuke was like, nah, man. So that's really good. So now I wrote some notes down. I just want to go over them real quick. Like I said, you can cancel Rekka. So the really big thing about Rekka that people aren't talking about is that now you can cancel Rekka into sword throw. Think about how ridiculous that is. Think about the mix-up game with that, right? You can do a Rekka. You can do Rekka 1, dash up. Let's say you go for a low. Let's say you try to go for a grab, right? Your opponent tries to respond. They're conditioned to respond. Now you dash up, immediately cancel into sword throw. They get shot into the corner instantly. You can do this off first Rekka. You can do this off second Rekka. That's going to be the wave. Either dash canceling from Rekka into another Rekka, which is really good because of the decreased startup, or you can do it into sword throw and make a frame trap out of it, which is extremely scary. That's very, very scary. Basically, you make it so that they're afraid to press anything after you dash cancel Rekkas, and you can just go to town. You can do whatever you want. Very scary stuff. 214K will probably be able to cross up again. I talked about that. The new air routes will need to be tested. Ramlethal is a big winner with the air changes because of the counter hit off of jump slash, jump D, jump HS, right? 2P, 6P Rekka will be a thing now. Because of the increased startup, you didn't get a combo off of 6P into Rekka, right? Those would not combo into each other. Now it 100% will. So now if you're being pressured, you can, now there's a reason to mash 2P. If you watch me, I never mash 2P, but now there's a reason to mash 2P in pressure because you can get your turn back. 2P, 2P, 6P, Rekkas, now you're going to get hard knocked down. That's very, very strong. So Ramlethal's defense got buffed a little bit. Far slash Rekka without counter hit needed. Before, if you far slashed and you got a counter hit, you could go straight into Rekkas because of the slowdown, but now you won't need that. So again, you have Daro if they're at max range. If they're close, not quite close enough for close slash, but not max range far slash, you can definitely go into Rekkas. That's huge. Again, Rekka. So one of Ramlethal's biggest strengths in the corner is being able to pretty much safely reset her pressure, right? One of her mixes is not about getting more damage, but it's about resetting her pressure so the opponent has to guess again. Oh, congratulations, you guessed my mix? Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and reset my pressure and do it again, and let's see if you guess correctly again. She can do this now more in spades. That's very, very scary. 214K will be safe to use. It's also, people forgot because the move wasn't really that good to use, but it's a low crush. So if you know your opponent's trying to do lows to get out of your pressure, right? 214K them. Again, we'll have to see. The movement speed got adjusted, so we'll have to see. Okay, yeah, we'll have to see how that works exactly, but that's pretty exciting. Maybe swords will be retrievable after YRC, because if you notice here, they fixed the location on the ground where it'll be set after touching the stage corner. We don't know what that means. That could be a buff, or that could be an overall just change. Not sure, but that could mean that you can get your swords back after YRC, which would be absolutely huge. Some people were saying that 214K, if it's +1, that will allow it to Gatling into 2P, and then obviously 2P, 6P, Rekkas. You'll be able to make your strings so long now. It's going to be absolutely insane. I'm like, Ramlethal is going to be playing a lot differently than she was before for a lot of people. 214K wall bounce. I talked about this briefly, but having more wall bounce combos, right? We see how Gold Lewis has wall bounce combos, and we see how absolutely insane that is. Ramlethal has a very situational wall bounce that it doesn't get used a lot. More wall bounces means more good times. Very happy about that. Rekka's now mixed with blue RC into 50-50. Okay. You could start Daro combo. So that's basically all the changes. I'll be going over more of it whenever we get the game in our hands, which should be tonight. I'm actually planning on streaming this. It's now a mid attack. It sucks. But if you think about it, it was over 30 frame overhead. It wasn't good as an overhead, and it never got used. It's way better like this. It's so much better like this. Because like I said, it crosses up. So you have to think about it like Kai's Fudra Arc, or like Nago's Spinning Top, right? Those moves are already insane because of their properties. It's going to be like that. It's definitely a buff to the move. Removing the overhead on paper sounds sad, but it's a much better move now for it. I guarantee it. So yeah, that's it. I want to get my hands on the game more. I'll be playing this like crazy. I already was playing Strive like crazy, but this is definitely... Ramlethal is a big winner this patch, and I cannot wait to see where the meta for Ramlethal goes. She's definitely top tier now.